Hello again, friends. Let's jump right into talking about relationships and how to effectively communicate. And there is so much, it feels a little bit daunting to know where to begin. But here's what I want to start out with. Relationships are messy, they will always be messy. And the goal in this is to never, the goal is not to never have conflicts. Conflicts and disagreements are things that are a necessary part of relating to other people. We don't see things the same way, and that's a wonderful benefit. We have different perspectives. We bring different perspectives to the conversation, to living. And so you're going to find that I'm not trying to help you never have an argument, to never have a disagreement. My goal is to help you feel regulated within your own self, to know why you're feeling triggered. And what I mean when I say triggered is, for instance, if I walk in the house and Evan, my husband, has been at home, I might start to feel very scared within myself, very unsafe, because I don't know what he's been doing, and based off of our history, there could be actions he took that feel like they will hurt me or that they will hurt or devastate our relationship. So because I don't feel safe within my own self, I become hyper vigilant and I start to ask him, Evan, how are you doing? Because I feel triggered deep within myself. I am searching to try to figure out how to create safety for me. So I told myself, if he is okay, then I can be okay. And that is rooted in a childhood belief, a core belief of mine, that I can't be okay unless everyone else is okay. And that was birthed out of growing up in a home where my parental figures didn't know how to regulate their own emotions. So I was trying to create safety within myself and to create peace within the home so that there wasn't so much chaos. So if I helped my parental figure to know how to settle and be emotionally stable, then I felt more stable and more secure. Because of course, as a child, I was going off of my parents' energy. So if they were freaking out, angry, and out of control, I didn't feel safe because I wasn't safe. I was a little kid, and my adult parent could have done anything with their power, and I was at their mercy. So if I could help them get to that place where they felt more stable, then I felt better. I felt safer. And that rolled into me trying to control all the other relationships around me so that, like, once again, I could feel stable within myself. I could feel safe within my own body. Instead of creating safety within my body, regulating my emotions so that no matter how anyone else is doing, I know how to ground myself and be okay. Do you feel the difference? My goal is to help you be able to ground yourself so that you can feel regulated and okay no matter what's going on around you. That won't always happen because you will be triggered sometimes. And I'm also going to throw in a phrase here, emotionally flashing back. You're going to sometimes be emotionally flashing back. So emotionally speaking, you're thinking about how it was in the past. Even though you're in the present moment, you're not truly in the present moment because you're remembering what it was to be unsafe in the past. So going back to my story about walking in the house, not knowing what Evan's been doing, feeling unsafe, needing to know he's okay so that I can feel okay. That's only because I'm emotionally flashing back. I'm triggered. I'm feeling out of control within my body. But if I can ground myself before I walk in the house, if I can remind myself by speaking it out verbally or thinking it, but I feel like the verbal affirmation is much more purposeful and powerful. Before I walk in that house, I can say, Kareen, no matter what Evan's been doing, you are safe. You're allowed to be okay even if he's not okay. His actions do not need to determine how you're doing. You're separate from Evan. You're a separate person. You're allowed to feel happy even if he's depressed. His actions don't have to negatively affect your day. And those are just some of the things coming to me right now. You would have to feel into it for yourself before you walk into a situation where you know you may start to feel triggered and unsafe. We crave that feeling of security and safety within our body. And when we don't have it, we're looking and searching, doing whatever we can to find it. So, my trauma response was to codependent people please. To do whatever I needed to do so everyone else could be okay, so I could feel okay. For you, it might be something different. Some people rage and explode in anger when they're feeling unsafe. But below that hard emotion is a softer emotion of sadness, disappointment, fear, of anything like that. But the anger is what shows up. And it's a way to protect ourselves. The anger protects us from needing to reveal the vulnerable emotions. Other people, they shut down because if we shut down and we numb out, we may not have to feel the depths of that emotional pain, of that sadness, of that disappointment, of the rejection, you name it. Some people, they're going to escape. They're going to run away, get out of the situation. And all of these are just means of trying to create some feelings of safety and security within the self. So no matter what your normal response is, I want to offer compassion to you that at one time in your life, you needed that response to just make it through your day. If you feel like now you can choose a different way, then we can talk about how you normally respond when you're to trauma or relationship conflicts based off of how you want to. And I can help you get to the place of responding in the way you'd rather respond. But that's your choice when you feel ready. So I hope that makes a bit of sense what I mean when I say triggered, when you're emotionally flashing back. And in relationships, that's going to typically happen. But the more we find healing within ourselves, the more we integrate within our bodies and feel safe within ourselves, the less we have to project onto other people. So if I can come into a conversation with Evan and say, Evan, it's nothing you've done right now. I am feeling insecure. I feel afraid. And I'm trying to create a feeling of safety within myself. And that's why I'm wondering what's been going on. How are you doing? I am taking the blame off of him. You're not responsible for the place I'm in right now, is what I'm basically saying. Because he isn't. No matter what he's done, I get to decide what emotional space I want to be in. I know it doesn't feel that easy, but if we break it down, I'm responsible for my emotions, you're responsible for yours. As a child, we needed someone to help us regulate, to co-regulate with us. As an adult, the goal is to self-regulate. I mean, in childhood, the goal is to help our children get to the place where they also can self-regulate. As an adult, though, our goal is to learn how to self-regulate. So once I level the playing field and say, Evan, here's where I'm at, here's what's going on for me, but you're not to blame for how I'm feeling right now. This isn't actually about what you've done. This is about me and how insecure and unsafe I feel. That doesn't mean that our history doesn't affect it. things that Evan and I have been through do affect our relationship. There is a part he plays in this, but I also know that beneath that, there's layers there's layers of trauma and emotional pain and distress I've carried into my relationship with him. And I know that is affecting me. So the less we project onto other people, and we can own what's going on within us and say, this isn't really about you. Here's where I'm at, and it's because of my stuff, and I don't want you to feel like you're to the blame. It allows the other person to become much less defensive. They can let their guard down because you're not attacking them. You're saying, just want to let you know, here's where I'm at. And I'm trying to work through it, but I'm not through it yet. So I might be coming across as a bit edgy, a bit insecure, unstable, and that's just because of where I'm at internally. You can go on to have more conversation than that. That is just a small piece of what is going to help as you're trying to relate with someone. That could be a coworker, it could be a friend, a family member, you name it. So let's talk about this more at group. I'd like you to consider, in addition to looking through your workbook and journaling, I'd like you to consider, what is your normal response to trauma, stress, relationship tension? Do you shut down? Do you explode in rage? Do you try to just put your needs aside and please the other person? Do you run away? What do you do in response to conflict in your relationships or stress in your relationships? Then also, what are some of the ways you are normally triggered and activated where you start to feel big emotions that seem like they came out of nowhere? What are the times when you can think about big emotions coming out of nowhere? Like I said, one way for me that happens very regularly is in my relationship with Evan. If I feel like, I don't know if he's being honest with me, I don't know if he's told me everything, okay? You name it for yourself. It could be 6 things you come up with, but as long as you come up with one, then we can continue from there. And just allow yourself to sit with some of these thoughts and see where it takes you. See what comes up. Consider your childhood, how your parental figures and caregivers related during stressful times. How did they relate in relationship to you? And how was it for you relating with the family and the people that you grew up with? Looking forward to talking with you soon in your individual session and in group.